Hello, my name is Bob Hemmer. I'm a friend and indirectly a relative of Bela's. I wanted to make a brief video because due to a planned family vacation, my family and I will not be able to attend the commemorative ceremony that you're holding today. I want to relate a couple of stories because Bela was a real kind of hero of mine, just in terms of how he lived his life and who he was. I first met Bela accidentally. I had moved here a number of years ago to Vermont from Denver, and I was moving into my future in-laws' house to house sit until I could find an apartment. They were going away to Germany for a few weeks. And as one of the warnings, my future mother-in-law, Helen Peslich, said, "You have to be careful of gypsies." I was like, okay, what? Gypsies? In Vermont? I mean, gypsies, yeah, that was ancient history, a long time ago. There's gypsies here. Oh, yes, you have to be careful. They'll knock on the door, and they'll want to ask you some questions. They might be lost. They might be in need. Meanwhile, someone will be around back, you know the rest of the story. So I'm house sitting for them while they're away in Germany. I'm setting up my new practice, meeting my new partners, looking for a place to live, coordinating things with my wife Lisa, who I was just engaged to then, for her eventual moving back to her home in Vermont. And I got a phone call at the house, and I answered the phone, and this gentleman on the other line goes, "Hello, Bob," and I'm like, "Well, hello," and he's, "How are you, and what's been going on, and how are things?" And he's very cheerful, very bubbly, but with a very thick gypsy-like accent. So I'm immediately suspicious of what's going on here, because I had never heard of Uncle Bela. You know, no one said that, you know, someone like this might call. So we're chatting, and I finally just have to say, look, I'm not really sure I know who you are, and I need to let you know that I am Bob, but that Bob Peslich is not available right now. I didn't know who this was, so I didn't want to even say he was out of town. So Bela then introduces himself, and I'm able to pick up the thread of the story, and we had a great chat. That was how I first met Bela. So then, of course, we've had him up to our house. We've, had him over for holidays and things like this, and he always I used to love hearing the stories about the early days of rock and roll. I used to enjoy listening to him tell me about being in the bank in the Village, and how he helped out how Eric Clapton and some of the members of Cream actually sang him happy birthday. But he also used to like to challenge me in a number of ways, but he also challenged my knowledge of rock and roll. And so he said, okay, who do you think this is? And this gentleman comes into the bank, and he's just starting to get big, and he wants to start his own studio in the Village. And I was like, no, don't start in the Village. That's the prices are outrageous now. Everything's jacked up. The market is saturated. You don't want to be here. Let's go down to Soho. And I helped him find a place and establish a recording studio. He's like, can you guess who that is? I had to think for a minute, and finally I just guessed. That was Electric Ladyland, Jimi Hendrix. Sure enough, that's who it was. So aside from being in the Budapest uprising, being on the ski patrol for the United States military, being a banker, being married to my wife's aunt, being a leather maker, being all this stuff, he also just really made my life challenging in terms of knowing this, all these little things about the rock industry that I'm very much into. And also, he was always just a wonderful part of my life. I really miss Bela. I was in the hospital with him several times and doing all that I could to encourage him, but he was just not there anymore, and that was truly sad. And so his passing was actually more of a blessing, in my opinion, because I don't think he could have ever recovered to the point where he could live life how he felt it should be lived, and he lived it to the fullest. So here's to Bela, and as a dedication to him, I help doing production work at the Vermont Arts Exchange, the Basement Music Series. I had a friend of mine dedicate a song to him, and that immediately follows this. Thank you for listening. Thank you for holding this ceremony for Bela. I'm truly sorry I can't be there. Peace to Bela. Take care.
I want to dedicate this tune to Bela. Bela. distance. I hear them calling our name. Maybe now you can't hear them, but you will.